What's up? Tuesday, March 18th. Playing games tonight. Playing games tonight.
We're streaming them.
Streaming tonight. Where do you get that action? DraftKings. The show is presented by DraftKings, our best friends. When it comes to college basketball and March Mania, one thing is for sure, nothing's for sure. Upsets, buzzer beaters, Cinderella's advancing, top seeds going home early. It's all going to happen. Bet the unexpected every upset every day with DraftKings Sportsbook. With live betting, exclusive content, promos, and parlays, DraftKings is the ultimate college basketball destination for March. Ready to make your first bet? Check out the matchups and pick a team to win. It's that simple. First time, here's something special for you. New DraftKings customers bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. I feel like the casuals, that's a great deal for casuals who don't have DraftKings. Sign up, tournament, everyone's involved.
Yep.
Put in $5. Bet a playing game tonight. You have $200 in bonus bets as you're rolling through the tournament.
Yeah, no brainer. Get in, get on the action.
Look at Marty's mic.
I mean, what?
Look at Marty's mic stand.
Oh, that's bad.
The blankness.
Looking at me like, what? It's like you
Took a while.
you thought it was about you. Also, you know what?
Hold
Shout
on.
out to DraftKings.
Yeah.
Shout out to DraftKings. My friend is a huge wrestling fan. He's betting on wrestling, also wrestling odds in I think the tournaments this weekend too.
NCAA.
Which is DraftKings has it all.
It's everything.
Bet the unexpected with DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code PICKCENTRAL. That's code PICKCENTRAL for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours.
That's going to fix it,
I
Marty?
wasn't twisting it at all. I'm gonna just sit here and twist it for the entire time.
All right. The baseball season did open today, so we'll do 5-10 minutes.
Well,
on
yeah,
that.
kind of. It did.
I mean, it opened. There was a
Technically,
game,
it did. It was a game and it counts.
Yeah, it was
Game and it
played at
counts.
6 o'clock in the morning. It was
Yep.
Japan, right?
Yep.
Japan.
Cubs, Dodgers, Yamamoto versus Shota. Yeah, you watched the game, right?
I did. I mean, sure, they pulled him so early.
Yeah, he had a no-hitter through 4. He had 69 pitches.
They pulled him through
69.
4, and then Ben Brown just came in and
Yep.
immediately just gave a bunch of runs.
Yeah.
Walks.
Your old friend John Birdie had an error.
Yeah, he played yesterday. Today.
Yeah.
This is weird. I don't like this.
I know.
But-
The morning stuff is a disaster. I'll be honest with you guys. I was trying to watch the game. I was falling in and out of sleep, so I'm doing some box score.
Well, let me ask you.
I'm just not good in the mornings.
I understand it's the first game, but like, why he's in Japan?
Mhm.
This is this is literally awesome for him. Why are you taking him out at 69 pitches?
I think honestly these guys just aren't ready yet, and that's why okay.
Because it's a week early. Because
It's part of it.
people are going to be pitching 85 pitches probably next week.
Yeah, I don't know, man. You're not gonna see a ton of it.
I'm not
85,
even
no,
saying-
I don't know. I'd say more
80
like 75.
That's so stupid.
So I put out a play. I put the play I put out on the show yesterday hit, thankfully. But my play of the day did not hit. So I'm 0-1 right now.
Well, that was in the second inning.
First hit of the major league season.
Yeah, it was the first season.
I said Dansby Swanson wouldn't get a hit. What does he do in the second inning? Gets a single, of course. So
Also, your research for that was very there's
it's-
not much that went.
it's not a lot of. I mean, I did the best I could. I mean, it's
No, yeah, I know.
Year.
I'm not just.
So this play though, I love. I love this play. Love. Justin Steele under 14.5 outs. So here's why. And this is not an attack on Justin.
In your guy.
Yeah, I can't.
I'm not shitting on Justin Steele here, but he hasn't even thrown 9 innings the entire spring training. The last game we just saw, Shota had a no-hitter, and they pulled him after 4 innings, so he only got 12 outs. The idea that Justin Steele is going to go 5 innings today, I just think, or tomorrow morning, whatever, I don't think is realistic. It's a minus 130.
They're playing the Dodgers, right, too?
They're playing the Dodgers, too.
Loaded lineup. As good
I
as
will
it
say,
is,
bets.
still- you
No,
could-
pitch count's got to be low.
Oh, yeah.
you could give- all right.
He's going off of what he saw last night of Shota having a no hitter through 4 innings, and they took him out.
And I think they're also trying to get these bullpen guys some work because,
Yeah.
this 2 games and they got to fly back to Arizona. They're going to play some more spring training, but it's just not. I think they want to get everyone kind of in the
I
game.
will say, it's the best he's ever felt. He said
He hasn't looked good in spring training, but spring training, who cares?
he did.
I actually really like Clemens' logic here.
No, I love it. I
think
it's
the
a
only,
good
the only
pick.
way he probably goes a full 5 is he's through 4 and he's at 50 pitches.
Even then, I don't know. I think they're trying to get some
I
of these
think
guys. in.
that's low.
You're right, Ev. Ev, you're not wrong. That is the only way. But even then, it's not even a lock.
Yeah. No. I like the logic. What
I
did
really like this one,
what did Yamamoto go yesterday?
4. He just went 4 innings this morning.
Yeah. So I
That's
think
why I was.
By the way, the Dodgers bullpen.
I'm sorry.
He went
5.
5. Yamamoto went 5.
5.
Dodgers bullpen didn't give up a base runner.
yeah, I know.
They're nasty.
They also Betts and Freeman just didn't play.
No, Betts
Lost 15 pounds.
something's going on, and no one knows why.
I'm sure it was
It's a mystery illness.
Do you think it was something that happened in Japan?
I think it happened before, right?
I don't know. Well, he traveled with that?
I don't know. I don't know the
15
timing on it.
pounds in
Good
a
question.
week is not good.
No.
Especially someone like him who's very like fit.
Skinny, yeah.
Super healthy, just a great athlete. Yeah, obviously, but I don't know. I'm concerned about the Mookie Betts stuff.
And what about Freeman? What's he not playing for?
I don't know. I don't have an answer on that. I'm bad with these morning games. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not
He had
myself.
discomfort in his rib section.
So he traveled to Japan with discomfort. And
Did he play in any of those games before, Phil? Do we know? Because they had some exhibition games against the Japanese
Oh, yeah, he
teams.
played. He literally got scratched almost 10, 15 minutes before first pitch.
That's right. I hadn't heard a lot about this. Okay. All right. So then there's a
They don't
chance
need
he
to play
plays
fucking anybody, dude. They don't have to play anybody, and they'll always win.
They have Tony Gonsolin, Clayton Kershaw, and Shohei all not in their rotation right now, and they won't need them until July or August.
It'll almost be embarrassing if they don't win. They got better than last year.
Oh, no. They got a lot better.
I know,
than last
and
year.
they were really good
Blake
last
Snell?
year. It's almost like Ohtani can pitch now. I know
Yes.
he's not going to yet, but he can
Right,
pitch
he will
now.
this season.
You have Kershaw in your bullpen. I know he's
Well, no,
old.
he's not even pitching right now either. This guy, him just kind of
I
hanging
mean,
around.
if they could get Glass now to the playoffs.
Yeah.
They just didn't have Glass.
and
arguably
Blake
their best
Snell?
pitcher, just didn't have him in the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's insane.
I mean, yeah, they don't have John Flaherty, but who cares when you have the other guys we're mentioning?
Who cares?
What are we doing?
And one other note, they're going to trade for a pitcher in July, too. Watch they get Sandy Alcantara for some prospect, some care.
I don't know. I don't know if they'll do that. They might.
Yeah, they don't even.
Yeah, well, they might need some lineup help.
They're going to make a trade in July. It's going to be
Might be
how
for
do
an-
they do it again?
Might be for an infielder. Bo Bichette is someone I could see them making a deal.
Luis
Why?
Robert.
No, I'm just saying, fuck that.
Oh, I know.
I feel like you made a point there. It's almost embarrassing if they don't win. Do you feel like in baseball, it's the most excusable if the favorites don't win? So, with the NBA look across sports.
Inexcusable? Or you're saying it's the most.
I'm saying it's the most
Excusable.
excusable. So in the NBA, the NHL I'm not going to speak on because I just don't know it. And I also do think that's the flukiest in the playoffs. 1 year in the West, I remember
NHL's the
my dad
most
telling me
excusable.
that
No one's that loaded in NHL anyway.
right, yeah, the 8, 7, 6, and 5 all won on the West in the first round. So it is
Goalie gets red hot.
crazy, yeah. But with the NBA, the pressure's on the Celtics this year. They're, and then you look at the Thunder. It's one of those where in the years when the Bulls were winning championships, the Lakers were winning championships, LeBron was, it's like the Warriors. If they didn't win, everybody was it's a failure of a year. In football, there is a ton of parity, but I feel like
Oh, this year the Chiefs.
we also say, if the Chiefs didn't win, a lot of pressure on the Chiefs.
It's also one game too, which is anything can happen.
But I feel like with baseball, it's the most excusable. Whereas, so the same thing, the Yankees were loaded in the AL, but they didn't win it. But it's or I guess more so if a favorite gets knocked off.
I get what you
the
mean.
Phillies last year. Phillies were a top tier team, and they weren't the most expected to win the World Series, but people had they were a World Series contender.
Sure.
They don't
I get what you
there.
mean.
I see that.
Last year, I don't think it mattered, right? I don't think last year mattered. The Dodgers were the
Favorite
best
one,
team.
yeah.
Well,
but
the favorite went through, but that's what made
I
me
don't
think
think
about
that was if they lost to the Yankees. I don't think anyone would be that's embarrassing.
Right.
This year is so crazy. Their team, it's an all-star team where it's almost. I get what you mean. I do think you're kind of right. I think
in baseball, the favorites, if you lose, people don't come down on them being failures, choke artists, this and that, because they do know baseball is so.
Yeah, but I just think this year it's so out of control of their bullpen. Every aspect of their team is the best.
Oh, we didn't mention Sasaki pitching today.
Yeah.
He was
We
making
don't
his
even-
debut
we just don't
tomorrow.
even
I'm
know.
sure.
But yeah, their starting pitching is the best. Their lineup is the best.
Their bullpen.
And their bullpen is the best. So it's not even they have one of the three or two of the three. It's everything. And that's where I'm this year it's if they're not in the World Series, it's a fail. It's pretty much a failure.
Gigantic failure, yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy, but to Rico's overall point is correct.
I think I agree with
In
you.
most years, he's right. This year, though, because the Dodgers are such a huge favorite that it's almost skewed.
But I still think, well, no, I'm going to retract that. Yeah, I do think the Dodgers have the most pressure this year. I think it's
Oh,
This year, it's a failure if they don't win. But most years, the favorite every other year, I would say, if they don't win, people are not coming down on them.
That's not true though. Like the Yankees get shit on every time when they're not. They get come down on every time when they're not. When they're favorites.
The Yankees will get shit on.
Yankees are a different element.
Oh, I know, but they're usually the favorite.
Oh, they'll get shit on.
Right.
I think Rico's right though. There's more parity in baseball than maybe gets credit.
I just think it's a long season. Like guys get hurt. It seems like there's more
Yeah.
impactful injuries. So it is what it is.
bullpens get red hot in the playoffs. Something that goes.
Let's say the Dodgers are hurt going into October. They have like 2.5 healthy pitchers. Maybe Ohtani or Freddie are out. Like they're banged up. Would it be like embarrassing then? Or
It's last year.
absolutely.
It'd be embarrassing.
I basically described
It'd
what
be
happened last
embarrassing.
year.
Yes. I also think with baseball, you can have okay lineup with a stud like Skubal, and like that team keeps you in the game because your pitcher's so good.
Right.
So like that's where I think it's like not as embarrassing. That's why crazy shit happens because you could have one stud pitcher and that keeps you in at least 2 games in a series.
Mm-hmm.
All right, diving into the tournament. I guess we can look at the overall bracket, but I had a bunch of nuggets or different things in terms of the sexy upsets that everyone's kind of highlighted, and then what you guys are either buying or selling on that. So let's kind of start with ones I think jumped out. It seems like everybody is on VCU versus BYU. I think Dukes will speak on VCU more. I think he's watched them the most, but obviously Shugla is a phenomenal player. Won A-10 Player of the Year.
I love VCU.
18-2 in the last 20. Teams shoot 44.4 effective field goal against them. Their negatives are that they haven't played anybody to a degree. They take a ton of threes, and BYU. But the good thing is they take a ton of threes. BYU is 243 in the country defending the three. So I still kind of like. Maybe it's just because I've watched the Big 12 more, and I remember that Iowa State game, and they're never. It seems like BYU is like never out of it, and they have that explosive offense, but they've got it stuck to them a couple of times too when the shots can't drop. I lean towards BYU here because I think everybody's on VCU. But maybe if everybody's on VCU, it's the right side. I worry about the trendy underdog. It seems like the most obvious underdog.
Do we have the actual numbers? Because I think I get stuck in the same thing as you. Because sometimes in our world, I see everyone's on VCU. Everyone's on UC San Diego. Everyone's on McNeese. Like, do you know if
Yes, I do have that in a different segment of the most bet percentages and the highest amount of money. I can tell you that VCU is on neither one.
On DK's app, it says 57% of the bets are placed on BYU.
So that makes me actually happy that I like VCU more than.
I don't necessarily agree with you that they didn't play anybody. Now is like the A10 the ACC or is it like the SEC? No, but I mean you're still getting high major players in these conferences. George Mason's no slouch. They're one of the best defenses in the country, according to Ken Pom. Dayton has pros on their roster. St. Joe's has 3 professional players on their roster. So it's not like they're playing like slouches, and they're not. It's not like they were winning this year. They were absolutely dominating, and they have length to like play up to these high major levels. Like Joe Bamasil, Zeb Jackson played at Michigan. Joe Bamasil was one of the best players at GW. Jack Clark's one of the best players in the ACC. He played on NC State last year, I want to say, or Clemson 2 years ago, or it was one of the other, but a transfer from an ACC school. VCU is fucking loaded. I love them. I think that, honestly, they'll win this game and then they'll beat Wisconsin. Both these games are going to be 3-point spreads or less.
I agree, Dukes.
Like if you like them this game, I think that DK has something where you could bet someone to make the Sweet 16.
Yeah, they're like
VCU. I'm blindly betting to
I
the
think they're plus 380.
I'm so with you.
Oh, that's a great point. I wanted to touch on that throughout the show. I didn't know how to work it in. There is a thing, bet the bracket on DraftKings, where you can bet on the teams to make it to the same round or different rounds. So if you wanted to do Duke to the Sweet 16, Tennessee to the Elite 8, and Florida to the Final 4, you can parlay all of those together. You can take different, if you want to take
that's cool.
2 monsters to reach the Sweets. Here, so pull it up quick.
Oh, yeah, baby.
Go to VCU.
They're minus money to get out of there to get to the Final
As
Four.
they should be. No, just go to the
Reach
Sweet
Final
16.
Four.
No,
Duke.
I'm just
Minus
showing
all
the
right.
example.
Minus
Sorry.
120.
Reach the Final Four.
Oh, so that means they're really saying
Well, that means
Rico.
that poor Rico.
But they're saying that our region
So like if
is the
Marty
weakest.
liked the VCU bet, he could parlay Duke to make the Final Four with VCU
Wow.
plus
Right, with
780.
VCU.
Oh my
Wow,
God, I
that's
love
VCU to make the
that.
Sweet 16. It's
Yeah.
really cool.
Dukesy, I love that. Also, I
Wait,
agree.
Click team versus the field. I think that's only the highest ones. Let's see that as well.
So
But
it's like
yeah,
Alabama versus the field.
What does that mean? I'm sorry. Like what?
you get Alabama to win the whole thing.
Win the whole thing.
2-1.
Okay.
That's to win the
really
whole
cool.
thing. Yeah, it gets
Yeah.
kind of that's the same as the future.
I was gonna say Duke's -3 plus
Yeah,
220.
it's the same.
Yeah.
Duke and Auburn versus the field. So you could take Duke and Auburn for plus 150. Right
Oh,
now.
that's interesting.
Right.
Okay.
I actually wish it was Duke in Florida.
Yeah, Auburn. I think I'd rather. I think I've now slid Auburn to like 4 in my.
I'd even
power
do. I'd even Duke and
click,
Florida. Would be
Florida's actually the favorite, second favorite now.
yeah,
the
that's
peop-
what I'd rather.
for the
Actually,
people,
like,
it's the
I actually
bet-
like Houston better than Auburn. I think right now. I think I'm back in on Houston.
It's the bet the bracket feature, right at the top.
Parlay the bracket, I believe, right?
I just clicked team futures.
I think it's the bet the bracket feature is what
Okay.
they're saying. Yeah, so you can take different teams to reach different levels. I think maybe you could take a flyer on the two teams everybody loves. Like if you take UC San Diego and VCU, that's got to be a massive payout.
This is interesting odds.
High Point and things like
Do
that.
you see this? This is to reach the final. Auburn's the favorite to reach the final, but they have like the third best odds to win
I
it.
don't get that.
Interesting.
I guess ours is a
I
little
like how the
harder
nerds
then. I
figure
don't
this
know.
out.
They like their side of the, they think their side's tougher.
I will say back what Duke was saying. Obviously the A10, like the lower tier teams are dog shit, but he is right. Those top teams aren't like the slouches of like these other leagues. If I'm BYU in the Big 12, that's the last team I want to play. My first game is a VCU team, and I love that they're fucking old as shit. They're old. They've been here. This is a team that's like it's their time now. And what's the spread? 3.5.
3.5.
All
3.5.
fifth-year seniors, all seniors.
All seniors is a huge thing for March Madness. Like
It is out in elevation. BYU is used to that. It's worth
That's the
noting.
only. That's the.
Worth noting.
No,
That's-
no,
it's
no.
the
That's,
only
that's
thing.
good.
huge
That's
note.
good.
No,
That's
it's
good.
100%.
That's a huge. You know, I'm a big elevation
Also
guy.
finishing up on Sunday, having to travel out west, having to acclimate to the. There
Yeah,
is-
the Iowa guys told us about that when they won the Big Ten, and they put them in not only in. Well, also, what time is the game Thursday? That matters as well.
It's definitely going to be after 12 Eastern time.
Let me see. I'll check on that.
You also know that they're
No, I don't know.
they're there already, so like that they can
I
get
know-
acclimated.
4:05 Eastern.
Do you think?
4:05 Eastern means 1:05 local. I think Colorado's 3 hours,
No,
2
2
hours
hours
behind.
mountain.
2:05 local. Okay, so it's the earlier window Thursday.
But they're already
That's
there.
exactly what we
which
said.
is good.
So if you're also into like the analytics shit, like I know I'm personally like in love with this. Evan Mia has BYU, and he loves BYU this year. BYU's obviously like they're a team that I was in love with going into this whole thing, but I don't like this matchup for them. They're 16 in Evan Mia,
VCU.
VCU 17.
Wow.
So it's BYU 16, VCU 17, and Max Schulga is the 13th rated player in the country according to him.
You know what those odds told me though that we saw earlier? Alabama was plus 450 to reach the Final Four. That means Bosco's on the bus.
Well,
Well, getting Duke, it was brutal. That was
Yeah.
brutal.
he has
but
an
they
82% chance to ride
They
the bus.
played themselves.
But
to
like
lower-
they kind of do have a easier road. Like
But for him, this bus.
no,
thing,
no, no. I know it's to
it don't
Duke,
matter if you can't-
but also, would you rather be playing fucking in Florida's region? They'd be getting to the final to getting to the Elite Eight would even be hard. Like the
listen.
3 is weak in ours. Wisconsin's a week 3.
The way I said the season hopefully would go was that you got to a 1 or 2.
Okay,
And
got
the
it.
season hopefully comes down to 2 games, which is advancing through the first weekend, and you have a massive Sweet 16 game, and then you have a massive Elite 8 game to get there. And that's kind of where it's at. And it's
Who's their 7-10?
Vanderbilt and St. Mary's.
It's not bad.
Yeah, I think-
Vanderbilt has seen them before,
Vandy-
which
didn't-
worries me a
Vandy-
little bit, but then we smacked Vandy. And St. Mary's,
I hate
That's
St.
an-
Mary's.
that's an
can't
easy
say St. Mary's
7-10.
is.
I'm not
yeah.
trusting St. Mary's.
I'd be more worried about Vandy.
St.
That's an
Mary's,
easy
What do you think
7-10
is?
though.
Who would you rather see if you were Alabama in the
Want
second round?
Kansas or Arkansas?
Want to know one of my future bets that I like more
Or
than
Vandy
Alabama
and
to the
St.
Final
Mary's.
Four? Alabama to the Elite Eight.
Yeah.
I think Alabama might have the easiest road on paper to the Elite Eight out of all the out of all the other twos right now.
Twos? Yeah, I agree.
But then you do have the chance, and I think Duke's pretty much a cakewalk to the Final Four. Like I don't see how any team that they should lose to in this bracket. Oregon is the only team that really stands out to me as like, that's a team that I could see upending them. And again, it just comes down to the age factor, how old Oregon is. I think Altman's a great coach. I think the length could be bothersome to an extent, and they play up to their competition. And going off that as well, I also think Oregon could lose round 1 because they play.
Yeah, I
everything.
was going to say,
I don't hate Liberty.
No,
All
but
right, so
that's just how the tournament shakes out.
Yes, that's on the list.
One note from our friends at DraftKings.
Sure.
If you parlay Duke and Alabama to get to the Elite Eight, that is plus 204 odds currently because Alabama's
that.
plus 120 to get to
Oh,
Elite Eight.
not bad.
Duke's
All
minus
right, that's
260.
interesting.
Great
I like
tidbit.
that. Good job, Meek.
Liberty versus Oregon. Liberty takes 47.7 attempts from 3, meaning if they have 100 shots in a game, 47.7 of them are threes. That's a lot. They also make 39.5% from 3. But Oregon holds their opponents to 31.7% from 3. So I think those long athletes at Oregon will kind of run you off the line, maybe force some bad ones. But if Liberty, we've seen tournament games where it's like Jack Golke and this guy just fucking can't miss, and Liberty. So it's very like it's up in the air with Liberty, but they're very, it could be very dangerous. They take a ton and they make a ton, so very dangerous. But Dana Altman in March, we've talked about that graphic, like most wins in March. He got close with Michigan State, but he definitely won that first one. I forget who they played. Who they play? Indiana?
What?
In the Big Ten
Yes, it
tournament.
was Indiana.
Indiana. They took care of Indiana, and they were in it with Michigan State, and then it got hairy late, and they didn't cover. But he's a great March coach. So that one jumped out. Another one.
Lines of Rubik's cubes.
I don't know what that has to do with basketball and why people would say that, but that's just me.
This guy sucks.
What happened there?
Akron.
Reek mentioned Rubik's Cube.
Oh, what's going on with it? What's the Rubik's
What's the
Cube?
Rubik's Cube?
Why is that bad?
What does he have? What did
Am I
Meek
playing
even say?
dumb?
I'm so confused.
It's
Oh, you don't know that one. It's a catchphrase.
Yeah, it's a catchphrase.
I'm a catchphrase guy.
Oh, Rothstein.
Oh.
He doesn't like when you say
John
the name.
Rothstein.
Akron 21-1 in their last 22 games. They play Arizona.
Show, man. It's like the fact that that's normal on this show is
Yeah, well, like, all right. Yeah.
Rubik's Cube.
Speaking code for the
Yeah,
viewers.
Rico won't say the man's name. Okay,
For like a
yeah,
guy that
yeah.
everyone knows right now.
11.
And he hates him that much. You hate him that much.
Hate him.
I don't like them. 11 threes a game. They're
I get it.
100.
It was the gum on
100
the shoe thing.
But they're
Although I will, we'll talk.
Gum
I
on
will
the
defend Bosco. When we went to that Seton Hall game, he did act like an asshole.
Yeah,
I will say
I was
that.
there too. He was a
I will-
fucking asshole.
I will say that he is very in person. In that moment, he was incredibly pretentious.
He's
I will give
only been
Bosco
nice
that.
to me, and I'm feel bad saying that. I want to be on your side. I'm on your side still, but he's only been nice to me.
I didn't even meet him that day. I just kind of I didn't care enough to even. I just kind of watched Bosco's interaction. It was very he definitely nosed up them a little bit.
I'm
I also
actually-
don't know if John Rossi knows how to be social. I feel like
that's
he's
his fault.
I'm
that
fine
still
with
makes you an
that.
asshole. He's he's a grown ass man.
I couldn't ride harder
fair.
for
He's
a
Rico
robot.
in this beef than this one. This one makes so much sense to me.
I did take
gum
an L.
on the shoe.
I did take an L. He does know what a flare screen is.
Yes, of course he does.
I didn't think he did.
Dude,
be
he
honest. I didn't
watches
think he did.
every single basketball game.
He goes to practices. And
He
that's
goes
his
to
whole
practice.
offseason.
Yeah, all right.
He has every coach's number.
Kind of sounds like you.
No, he
Has all the numbers, goes
he's in
to
it for the
practice.
news.
He has
He's in it
every
for the
single
news.
coach, every active coach, Clement, he has his number.
He's in it for the news. I'm in it for the friendships.
Bosco is more.
That's a good
personality.
tagline. I like
Bosco's more
that.
personality, more character, but John
Oh, yeah.
Rothstein's job is like Bosco's dream job. That's a fact.
Oh.
No, breaking news not. Absolutely not.
But all the numbers going, all the practices,
Numbers are good practices.
Bosco.
coaches' interactions.
Breaking
he would
news
literally
not.
do
What do you
anything.
mean breaking news not? Every practice, every Final Four, every
But it's
game.
the news thing, it's whatever. Akron's 183rd
You work things out with Fanta, right? He was just fooling around.
to a degree.
He
Yeah,
was just fooling
I
around.
think we're gonna have a sit down in San Antonio.
Oh, good. Dude, I think he was just right. Marty, you were there. He was just having
I
fun.
heard there's a couple of sit downs.
Oh, really?
I heard of a sit down.
What's another one?
Is there a sit down between a potential tournament team right now that your friend used to work at?
Oh,
I'm so
Okay.
confused. I
Can't
don't know.
fucking
Can't
keep
do
up
it.
with
Th-
it.
Jared Grosso.
This would be Grosso.
There we go.
Jared Grosso's former school. Are you
Brian-
sitting down
Brian
with
made the
them? Are you
tournament.
mending fences
Yes,
with,
yeah.
with
They're playing
the
Michigan
Bryant
State.
brass?
Yeah, I was in the DMs last night.
Yeah, I heard about
You're in
this.
the DMs of what?
Bryant staff.
Because let's just say there's a
They
guy.
wanted to clarify if I was a Bryant guy or I was a Grosso guy.
I mean, that's a fact.
left
It's a
it.
fact that you were a Grasso guy.
Let's just
Right.
say this, Marty. I have a guy with Bryant, and Bosco kind of just assumed he was his guy. And then on the bracket show.
Well, of course. Wait, first of all, before you go,
I know.
Bosco assumes everyone is his guy and no one else could be their guy.
I talked about this guy for years, and Bosco was like, "Oh yeah, I met this guy, blah blah blah." And I was like, "No, I told you about him 2 years ago." Going off that, when Bosco wrote down who his teams were for the tournament, he didn't include Bryant, and he wore the jumpsuit, and he got a jumpsuit in the fall from him.
Yeah, but I actually respect.
Didn't you get stuff from him? He sent stuff here for you.
Oh.
Yeah, that might have been. Oh, okay, but that was technically from Grasso. So if he was the messenger, I didn't know that.
He wasn't on the Grasso thing. He wasn't with Grasso.
Well, I didn't get anything this year.
Okay.
That's facts.
We also my text yesterday asking if it was 2 guests. He goes, that doesn't fit.
I meant Gambit.
Oh, that's fine, but that was crazy.
I mean, you can't. Yeah, I got it.
All right, just making sure.
Yeah, I'll clarify one of them. Why not after the show?
Okay.
I think it's like you'll agree with.
All right. That's fine. I just got a text. I didn't see anything else.
It would be easier if we just talked in Morse.
No, that's the whole show.
We talked. That 10 minutes was no one knows what just happened.
No.
Besides us.
Akron,
I'm confused.
And Clipper's got no idea.
Akron 183rd defensively. Arizona obviously is an up and down team. Akron, the number's big here with Akron, and in terms of big time tickets, most bet percentage, Akron plus 14.5, 78%. Highest percent of the money, Akron plus 14.5, 94% of the money.
Wow.
94%.
What's the over in this game?
It's like
166 or
It's
something.
Akron, Arizona, right?
Yes.
Akron,
Can
Arizona.
I tell you something? Do you guys feel the same way? Would you rather your team play Akron or Arizona?
Arizona, I think.
Akron.
I think I agree with you.
rather than play Arizona.
Yeah.
Well,
Wait, if you're
No, it
Akron,
does.
get-
Rico, you're thinking of my side. Because it's like you're so much, obviously more, like there's way more pressure on your team. It's stupid. I am understanding it's stupid. I want that on the record. But like
I think I would rather play Akron.
if Duke is playing Akron, right? Obviously Duke's 10 times
win by
better than
1,000.
Akron. They would win by 1,000. But just that off, it's so much worse.
But
to
the
lose to Akron.
off chance would be Arizona maybe could give them a run.
Arizona's
Also,
already seen.
We
Yeah,
beat
so
the
that was
shit
a-
out of Arizona
I
already.
was going to say, well,
Yeah, back in
that was-
November,
that
they've
was
already
a
seen
totally
you, though. They're a
different
different team.
We're a different team. We're a way better team, actually.
The 4-5s don't scare you at all in terms of Arizona and Oregon?
Not at all.
for Duke, I want to be that scared.
Truly, they're not at all.
Honestly,
That's dangerous.
What's your stat on
Sorry,
Oregon playing elite
Oh,
competition, though?
This isn't.
undefeated
This
against
isn't.
1A competition.
I feel like this gets clipped and
Plummer, this isn't like.
Dana Altman gets to the Sweet 16.
Plummer, this isn't more like overconfident Maury. This is like the best basketball team I've ever watched in college basketball for Duke. UConn was like insane, but I'm saying for Duke, they aren't weak in any spot. They have the size, they have the length, they have the best player in the country. It's like, and like defensively, they can, like Oregon would have no chance against us. Arizona I'd be a little more scared of, but like Caleb Love is like a 0 when it comes to playing Duke. So like I don't think that I have no worries at all.
Yeah, he could be untrustworthy. I also think the MAC, it feels like Buffalo did have those good runs with Oates. I'm not just saying that because of him. But and Ohio had a couple of wins in the tournament. But for the most part, it doesn't seem like the MAC has had massive success in the tournament. Does that make sense?
No.
A couple of first-round wins, but nothing
I mean, no, they
jumps
nothing
out.
like
It
crazy.
also feels like it's been a while. Akron was a sexy pick last year. Don't think they did anything. I'm trying to think of who
I'll
else.
tell you this, I don't have a lot of upsets. Don't have a ton.
Well, there's a lot of like it depends. It depends.
I think the upsets are going to be the ones that no one is expecting. Like I think Lipscomb's going to win as a 14.
Like
I
that-
haven't seen that one.
Wow.
That I
That
could
would
see.
be-
Like because the big
Who they
upsets
playing?
are High Point, UC San Diego, Akron, Liberty, Colorado State, but that's not an upset technically because they're favored. Drake, Yale, McNeese. Like we'll get through all these.
like
but
Yale.
I could feel all of those
Yale, I'm
not
getting
going,
back on,
and it's
too.
the ones you don't see. Or a 15 beats a 2
I have
because
one-
the 1s and 2s are heavy, but like 7 of them win, but 1 gets clipped, and the rest of it stays kind of chalk.
Lipscomb's playing Iowa State, 14.5 point favorite or underdog. Lipscomb is.
I have a sneaky one. 14-3. I think Troy could beat Kentucky.
Let's go. I'm a Troy boy.
I wasn't that impressed with them in the Sun Belt, but I
Dude,
guess
they kicked the shit out of Brian. They embarrassed him. They made me lost him a Power 5 job.
No, it was an 8-minute stretch where they got better than the one team.
That's my bracket buster team.
I just don't like Kentucky that much.
Yeah, I'm not.
Troy.
They have injuries.
Also, can we just talk about funniest case scenario?
How many tournament games has Pope won? None.
I don't think he's ever made the Sweet 16. He lost
Has
to
he
Duquesne.
won? Has he won a tournament game?
They crowned Pope
Did
really
win a
early,
tournament
by
game?
the way.
Yeah, BYU, right? Yeah.
They crowned Pope as like this best coach real early. Just letting everyone know.
They're also missing like their best player.
And like, listen, I
I
hate
know
him.
it's not good.
I hate
He's
him.
banged up.
Cal did a pretty good job this year, as much as it pains me.
Oh, yeah, he
They
did.
bounced back.
Boogie was out
Yeah.
early. They beat Michigan at the Garden.
Beat Kentucky.
They had the highest NIL. What are you talking about? They had the
but they
highest
were dead-
NIL.
they were
They had
dead
the
in the-
most money.
They were dead in the water, and he did a good job of
They
rallying
had the
them back.
They had the most money to spend on a
Guys
coach.
did well, though, Marty.
Yeah, but that's a
check
huge,
out.
what do you mean? That's a huge advantage. Like that, they shouldn't be a 10 seed.
guys
I'm not going to give Cal credit for a 10 seed with the most money to give to an NIL.
It's a while
I
to
think he did a
build
good
something up,
coaching
though,
job.
man. I
No,
don't know.
it doesn't.
Guys could have
Does a little bit. A little.
No, it
I
does
know
not.
NIL
Year
expect
2
things.
matters the
Absolutely.
most.
What?
Year 2 matters the most.
Year 2 definitely matters most, but it doesn't. It's now and nowadays it doesn't take like he was recruiting when he was still at Kentucky. He was taking his guys with him. He was getting everyone in there. Like I guess you can give him more as a coaching job of that he didn't just let the team go. But they're a 10 seed with the most money.
I think it was they lost their best player. They started in the SEC like was 0-5 or 0-6, and really like they weren't going to sniff the tournament. They rallied. Like what they looked the second half of the year was pretty strong.
You could
I
say
love
the guys
Kansas.
have the most.
I kind of like them against Kansas.
I love Kansas.
Kansas has done nothing to make me like super confident.
You could say the guys have the most money, but by the same token, all they had to do was just show up, play bad basketball, play me basketball, look out for themselves, take the money, and just let the season run out. Like, hey, let's not get hurt. Let's not. He did a good job of rallying them as a team. As much as I hate,
guess
it.
what I'm saying
they
is-
did rally through.
I'm saying is this like this isn't a new coach. This is a guy who is supposed to do this. That's where I'm more at. Like he should have. Coach Cal should be a top seed. He's this guy that's. I know it's changing a school. I know it's his first year. I know all that. But when you have the most money in your Coach Cal, I just expect more than.
All you do is blow Patino. You're not going to give Cal any credit?
What are you talking about?
Go off Patino.
The money is totally different of Coach Cal and Arkansas and St. John's.
That's true.
Patino's also a 2 seed and one. Big
Yeah, one's a 10 seed, one's a 2 seed.
Right. Well, how many is this Patino's first year there?
Second.
Right. Year 2 is what matters.
Yes,
what did he do year 1? So let's give Cal another year. The fact he's doing this first year is pretty good.
The most, but what are we talking about? It's the most money.
on the
Yeah,
money
but your
thing.
point-
Wait,
again,
is that
you're not-
is that like confirmed?
Yes.
You're not
A
seeing
lot of this
my
stuff
point.
gets Ohio State. We dealt with.
confirmed.
I heard Kansas
Gets like
State had a
thrown out.
run and-
Indiana.
It's
also.
confirmed. Tyson Chicken is the biggest sponsor there could be.
Tyson, Arkansas has money.
And
They
Walmart.
have
I
money
think
for
Indiana-
sure.
Tyson
spent
Chicken?
the
No,
most.
I wasn't being shitty. We've all enjoyed Tyson Chicken.
Absolutely. Tyson Nuggets are great.
Indiana spent the most, I think, this offseason.
No, I'm telling you. I just read something on Arkansas spending the most.
My point was I just know I dealt with Ohio State. We never know how like confirmed these things are because that was the narrative of Ohio State all year, and they weren't top like 2. It was Ohio State was their idea was the first guy to just say flat out we spent $20 million. No one ever just like flat out just said that like turned their cards over.
Yeah.
So I do find it fascinating.
UC San Diego against Michigan. UC San Diego wants to force turnovers. They're top 60 in offensive, top 30 in defense. I'm definitely going to fuck up his first name, but Wana Tate Jones, 6'6". He's a
Can't
foreign
believe you even
kid.
Should've said
Michigan
Jones.
turns it over. But in terms of highest bet games, I've seen Michigan on. So it seems like Michigan's on a ton of lists.
I have
Turns
Michigan
out.
70-1 to win the title.
You have Michigan 70-1 to win the title. That's not bad.
It's up to 75-1 now, so I
Why do
got
you
a
think he
bad
took that?
number.
What?
Why do you think you took that, not Bama?
Probably because of Dave.
Well, the last time I actually took Michigan to win a title, they made it to a championship game versus Nova where they got destroyed.
Right.
So.
So it's a good hedge out, though.
Yeah.
In terms of our boy 3-point sniper, he's got Michigan on upset alert. I think everybody does have Michigan on.
I think everyone kind of does.
I like Michigan.
It's a weird because
So do I.
it's like this. Obviously, any team Michigan plays, especially a mid-major team like this, they have 2 7-footers. It's instantly going to be a thing you think about. But I looked at the thing you looked at. UC San Diego, they fit the mid-major upset criteria. Like you said,
Right.
they're like top 30 in offense and defense. They basically won their conference wire to wire, and they won it pretty dominantly the entire season. They're also, I looked at their conference, actually has some big guys. They're used to playing to get some size, so I think will help them. But their front line's like 6'6", 6'6".
No size.
So like their biggest guy they're rolling out 6'8". I know he's pretty good. He's played against bigger guys. It does feel like a little bit of the sexy one, but I feel like since gambling's become so prominent, it's hard to even decipher which ones are sexy anymore. Because like there's a bunch of these are like 3-point spreads. Like there's so many. We have a 12 seed this year, the 2.5 point favorite.
Yeah.
Like there's so many of the it feels like almost all the 12-5s. They're short numbers.
I think Michigan's going to live at the line. I think that's where the difference is.
The one that you point out quickly, the thing I looked at too was that UC San Diego, they force a ton of turnovers. Michigan turns over a lot. But also, I think an intangible thing with Michigan is they just win all these close games.
Yeah.
Every close game they win. It feels like you're gonna bet San Diego plus 3 or 3.5, whatever 2.5, whatever number you get.
But
they're gonna be in it at the very end, and then they're gonna end up losing by like 6.
Yeah, but you could also guess the flip side. So, all right, they're lights out, they're nails in close games.
Always.
But at the end of the season, if you take all the games decided within 6 points, and right now their record is 13-1 or 11-2, whatever it is right now. At the end, if they did lose this game and they finished 11-3 in those games, 12-3, whatever it is, you'd still say, well, they're great in close games, but that was just the one they lost.
Sure, no, well,
you know what I mean?
Well, that's what it comes down to.
I could see both sides.
Is it the one that they finally don't get the bounce,
Right.
or
I like
are they nails?
when teams have experience as well. Like FAU had that experience that they've taken over to Michigan, like Dusty May with Vladdy and what's his name?
Wolf, they beat Auburn last year.
Yeah, with Wolf. Like, I think that this game especially, I think it's a little too trendy, where it's just like they want this to happen. I like Michigan. I also I know what's his name's out for Memphis, but I like Memphis in that game too. I know they're underdogs, but
yeah, we'll get to that one next. One note
Can I say something really quick
Hold
about-
on. Round one teams that are perfect against the spread when priced as a dog this season. UC San Diego 6-0, and the difference in those games plus 13.2 points. They're also
dominant.
straight up in those games. They're 6-0 against the spread as a dog with a 13-point difference. Straight up in those games, they're 5-1. 5-1 on the money line, 6-0 against the spread. Go ahead, Duke. Sorry.
No, don't worry. I was looking at the rebounding thing when we talked about their 2 7-footers yesterday for UC San Diego, and obviously Ev already touched on what one of my points is. UC Irvine, team that they played, probably the best competition, has a 7-foot guy.
Yeah.
They played 7-foot guys the entire year. Going against 2, obviously a different challenge. But I think the steal discrepancy that we're talking about, the turnovers, is a bigger deal than we're kind of downplaying it to be. And second off, it's not like Michigan is like a rebounding monster team. When you look at the offensive rebounding percentage,
Top 100.
UC San Diego sucks. Michigan's defensive rebounding is 182. So
But
it's
you
not like
go-
they're like lighting it up on the defensive
it's
rebound.
always tough with these teams too, because then you're like, there's some teams that are like, oh, they didn't play anybody, and then like their best team is UC Irvine, like that's their best team they played. It's just like it's a tough thing to grasp when you're like, I do know they're a good team, but it's they don't play many people, so it's hard to see like Michigan's playing against good competition, obviously. But I don't know. It's a weird. That's why the tournament's the absolute best. So you get to see these teams actually play somebody. And Michigan's not like, I know they won the Big Ten, but they're not like this juggernaut. So I think that's why everyone's like, oh, this is a good matchup for them. And it's 2.5, but I still like Michigan.
Yeah. Speaking of things to like, let me tell you about Cosm. Cosm is the place to be for all of your March college basketball. Catch all the games, cheer on your teams, and watch the bracket come to life at Cosm. Experience the thrill of college basketball in March like never before as you're immersed in every dunk, three-pointer, and buzzer beater. Catch every moment in the hall on Cosm's wall-to-wall LED screen. Every game feed seamlessly synced and displayed in a way that can make following the tournament effortless. Your bracket is set. Now lock in your spot at Cosm. Ev, you've been to Cosm.
You know, I went there, watched Ohio State, Oregon. It was
that's right.
brutal loss, but it truly is an incredible place. So it's like it's an experience. Like it really feels like you're at the game. It truly is insane. It's almost like I don't want to say virtual reality because obviously it's real, but it literally feels like you're watching the game front row. It really is unbelievable. It's just and like great food, just like it literally is like it's like a massive hall for just like sports lovers.
Sounds like just like an immersive experience.
It is like you come in and like the screens are so like they're like big. It's so massive. Like it really.
I do want to try it.
Sounds awesome.
And the camera angles, they have great camera angles. Where like for example, football, it was like end zone. Then they have like 3 or 4 along the sideline. other end zone. So like no matter where the like basketball, I'm sure it'll be a little different. But like where the ball is kind of just where like you are immersed in the game. It's unreal. It really is.
I want to do it for a basketball game.
It's
sounds
awesome.
sick.
They showed previews of like other sports, like for example, watching like UFC.
Can't imagine.
It literally gives you the camera. It literally gives you a camera angle as if you were sitting like crisscross applesauce in the corner of the ring.
Jesus Christ.
You're just like watching the fight. Like they're just standing. And you're just. It really is insane. Unbelievable.
Head to Cosm.com to get your tickets. That's COSM, Cosm, COSM.com. All right, Colorado State, Memphis. Colorado State has.
I just want to ask this one question.
Sure.
Just because you're talking about Michigan's bigs. Who is the worst player in the NBA you could put on a 16 seed and they run the table?
I saw they did this with Caruso on a PMT.
It was an
clip.
old episode, but I have a name that I honestly think
It's in the NBA. Like who's the worst NBA player that could do
Yes.
it and win the whole thing?
Yes.
I'm
going to say a name. I
think it's higher than you think. I think you'd have to go, top 40 players, top 30 players?
I think you put Isaiah Hartenstein on a 16 seed, they run the table.
Absolutely not. That's the stupidest.
A 7'2"
no
center
way.
of his strength.
7'2", but like there's 7'2" guys
yeah,
that
I don't
a
think-
center.
Hold on, but he's not just any 7'2" guy. He's like,
Bro,
I'm not saying that I'm not.
seed, no chance.
I don't know if they win it all. I actually don't hate where he's going. I think Hartenstein's super underrated. How good a player he is.
You know, he's an awesome player.
Yes,
Like,
Hartenstein-
Great.
what he is, he's
Nothing
great.
against
The
Hartenstein, but
difference in
that's
Hartenstein
not
is that you can run offense through him. Like he can pass.
yes,
That's huge.
but that's not.
But who's he passing to?
a
He's
16
passing to a
yeah,
guy-
you can pass to whoever he wants.
32% from three.
This guy who shouldn't even be on the fucking court.
If you're a coach, you could also just do the Zach Edey effect. Be like, all right, he can get 45.
You could
but,
do
like,
that with him,
and
honestly.
then
Yeah, but-
You genuinely could do that with
Yeah,
him.
but there was
Right.
also guys around Zach Edey that could shoot threes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they
Like
and they
Cooper
couldn't. That was
Flag
the-
is
that
going
was
to be a
Hartenstein's
better
also-
player in the NBA next year than Hartenstein.
I don't know
Yes.
about that.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yes, he is.
Probably.
I know Hartenstein's great, but
Yeah,
Cooper
and
Flag
Hartenstein's
is.
I'm not even shitting on Hartenstein.
Hartenstein's
No.
a lot better than Edey too. Just for the.
Yes, I know that
Yes,
too. Cooper Flag's gonna be
Yes.
better than him.
We're talking about a
next year.
grown man here. Like, I'm not like picking like.
I do
Hartenstein's,
think
like,
the grown
26.
man aspect is a bigger deal than it'll get
They
made
play.
credit for.
We have 18-year-olds playing against grown men doing completely fine.
But it's different when all of them are like are 18 to 22.
I think
You
it
have like
needs
a-
to be
you have
more
like
of like
28-year-old.
it needs to be more of a scorer than Hartenstein.
I guess I think he's probably pushing it with Hartenstein, but I understand
he
I
is.
think for example, like you see like I think guys in the NBA you would see like their bag of scoring against these competitions would be like holy shit.
Aaron
Oh,
Gordon,
I
I
got,
like,
like,
get that.
like-
I know.
like a Pat Bev,
I know you guys are explaining it to me, but it's just no. He cannot. It's not Hartenstein.
I think
I
he's
agree
closer
with
than
you,
you
Ryan.
think. I think he's closer than you think, but I agree with you.
You put Aaron Gordon on a 16 seed, they're running the table.
Yes, that's a lot different of a fucking
I
player.
don't even know if that's the case.
But I also
I actually
don't know.
I don't think it is.
I actually think I think Gordon and Hartenstein are pretty comparable. They have different games, but I'm saying like skill
I think it's harder than you think.
Yeah, I think it's way harder than you think.
I think,
One
like, at least,
player also is.
I think at least like 25 guys could do
16 seeds are really bad. Really bad. They
NBA
don't.
players
They
are
don't
really
beat
good.
NBA players are that much better. I think.
one player though. Where it's a lot. I understand, but 16 seeds are really bad.
But,
There's
like-
no mid guys either. Like there's no 16 seeds that are having NBA guys.
But there's guys on like the best teams on like there's besides Flag, there's most of Duke's roster will do like nothing in the NBA. That's just a
It's
fact.
just not a fact.
That's a
I
fact.
don't know.
There's three top 10 guys.
Most there's 12 guys in the team.
Yes, but there's.
So most of them will do nothing in the NBA.
Yeah, I mean that's
I mean,
fair. But,
okay, you're
It's-
you're
but it's
you're
true.
yeah, but you're
It's
saying
true.
most where they have three top 10 guys, and there's also like guys that will do something.
Like Flag, I think is a no doubter. Like other than
Yeah.
that, it's like a crap. Like after that, like even like a Maluch and the other guys, like you don't or like Knuffle, like you don't know that they're going to be like good. Like
no,
Flag,
you don't know, but they're
don't
going
know,
to
but
be
Flag's
the only one I know
players
is
in the
gonna be
NBA
good.
though. They're going to
Rutgers
be.
has 2 top 5 picks that aren't even in a tournament.
It's a fair point.
It's a great. Well, that's a good point against that thought process where like one guy can lead you.
But they're also they're
but-
18-year-olds though.
Yeah.
yeah.
27.
And that's
I know, but I'm just saying.
Colorado State versus Memphis. I'm leaning with Colorado State. I think Nick Clifford is an animal. Memphis very up and down. They obviously have the injury to Hunter.
Yeah, but like Dane Dangers can handle some people.
Yeah,
right
for
there.
sure.
Like there's
And
like
Memphis has I think 4 guys in double digits now. 3 without Hunter.
there also wasn't any like like Memphis always had nonsense like Penny with Penny and everything. He's been a
I think
good
Penny's
year for
I
them.
think Penny's matured a little bit.
Oh, he has. It's been a
this year
good year
went-
for them.
If this year went awry, I don't think he is keeping that job.
I also old Memphis loses that UAB game. They were losing at halftime, I believe, or was tied, and because I bet Memphis
They're losing by
twice.
Who are you
And
on, Rico, for this game?
Colorado State.
I'm all over Memphis.
Colorado State's favored by 2.5.
I love
Mountain
Memphis.
West, yeah, the Mountain West does horrific in the tournament. I know San Diego State bucked the trend getting to a final, But the Mountain West always gets multiple bids and never really does well in the tournament. And I usually like myself on these Mountain West teams. I can't help it. I also like New Mexico, so we'll see. But
I think PJ Haggerty is just going to go off in this game.
yeah.
He's that type of March player. I mean, I don't know how far he could take Memphis by himself, but he's.
I actually think I'm loving Memphis now.
I cannot sign Colorado State.
All right.
Memphis money line is plus 124.
Yeah, I like it.
Just putting that out there.
What time's that game?
I don't know.
Friday 2 o'clock.
Friday, yeah. Like Colorado, I feel like every year I find myself in the spot where I know I'm like, don't bet the Mountain West, and then every year I find myself, I'm like, I kind of like that one. I kind of like that one. And
Well, when you see it, also everyone sees
eventually-
12 as a -2.5 favorite, and when there's an injury to a team,
Right.
everyone always picks against them.
Yeah.
I also am
Always.
just I'm not a fan of Penny as like a coach. They had a solid year this year, but I also wonder like how they just have a lot of talent.
Yeah.
Like, I
They do.
think they just
A lot
kind
of
of
talent.
I feel like they just kind of out talented the AAC.
Yale versus A&M. Yale returns 4 starters from a team last year that beat Auburn, shoot 38.5% from 3. Yale wants to get up and down too. We'll see how that goes. Bud's a great coach.
Plane was delayed today.
Yeah.
Gas
A&M
problem.
favored by 7.5.
I like Yale.
I like Yale with the number. Do you think they have a chance?
I think
Yeah,
they
I do.
because
I do. I
do
think
too.
they have a chance.
I just think A&M, like when you I love Wade Taylor, like one of my favorite players to watch. When you have a guy like that that's so volatile, like they can have a game where he goes like 8 for 11, but he also can go like 2 for like 15.
Yeah, he
And
can.
when you have a guy like that, I think that can hurt you, especially a team like Yale where they can light up from 3. The Greek kid, I'm
They
assuming.
don't make a lot of
Ivy
mistakes
teams are always
either.
going to be disciplined.
He also,
They
he's
don't
a
make-
good
always
coach.
going to be
They've
disciplined.
won. They beat like they won last year with obviously with Wolf, but still they brought like 4 of the starters, and they're in the same spot. They were they lose like just a couple games this year. They were
yeah.
very good. I don't know. I really like him. I think just a team that can make threes like that are always like has like a puncher's chance. And they're well coached. Like I think the kid in Bang's a good athlete at point guard. Like I think he can actually match up with the guards. Yeah, it's all for them. It's just like the size and the athleticism of the bigs too. Because A&M has some like Coleman's an athletic big. I think they got a shot though. I think I bet them already. I bet them to cover.
Yep. McNeese versus Clemson. McNeese lost to Bama by 8, lost by 3 to Mississippi State. You worry about their depth. They're only about 7 deep. That could always get you into foul trouble too, especially the way these games are officiated. But they got 5 guys in double-digit scoring, and they got another guy who scores 9.
I love
It's
that.
not just relying on hey, this one guy goes off, 5 guys. Clemson really good, but Brownell's being floated at jobs. You don't know if that's
Hunter got
in the
hurt
or,
too. That's worrisome.
Yeah.
Hunter being out's a problem for them.
McNeese.
Yeah, I wanted.
Because
Yeah.
also this is going to help him with his he can get any job he wants now
After he wins
after
this
this, but he wins this one. It's more like look at Will Wade, all that stuff. I like McNeese here.
Clemson favored by 7.5.
2 more. Drake versus Missouri. This is just a vast difference. In
Tough
style of
game.
plays.
This is a tough game.
Difference of style of plays. This has been a pinpoint for me in terms of where to look for upsets. Pace of play.
Yeah.
One team wants to play fast. If you can slow them down or speed them up, vice versa. There's always 2 different ways, and get them into that grind. Like it benefits you. That's what you want to do.
What's this number?
6.5.
6.5. Drake is 6-0 in quad 1 and quad 2 games. So the Missouri Valley doesn't play a ton of great games, but in their opportunities, undefeated.
Who was
What?
Who was it? Do you know?
I don't know offhand, but I do know
Who?
they're Drake.
Who
They won
beat?
that tournament in the beginning of the season. I want to say
Right.
one of
they
them.
beat the shit out of
one of
Kansas
them
State, I
was
think.
one of them Miami, which.
And they force turnovers. Drake forces turnovers. We obviously know Missouri has a lot, of athletes, so
This
I
Thursday,
beat
kinda like
Vandy.
Missouri.
They beat FAU. They beat Miami.
Drake beat who?
Miami,
They're
FAU,
bad.
Vandy.
FAU. Okay.
Vandy's a good win.
Vandy is a good win.
Kansas State,
Okay. Well,
Belmont.
Solid one.
what?
Belmont, Bradley.
Belmont good wins. Yeah, I mean they took care of the Valley.
Not bad. They
Valley's a
can
good
handle
league. Valley was a multi-bid league. There were years when Drake got a 5, Western Kentucky. Like there was a lot of years when Western Kentucky was never in the Valley. I don't think, but
I think Bennett Sturts is amazing.
Yeah, the guard, the white.
yeah. And
Bennett
McCullum's
Sturts-
just a fucking winner, dude.
Bennett
National
Sturts-
guys won national championships at his level. Like,
Bennett Sturts is the classic kid that would just show up to a park and would get picked like last and then just cook everything.
Yeah.
He's like buzz kid, like short, like white, just pasty white kid with like short hair, like not physically imposing at all, and just can shoot the lights out.
I
and a good
faded
guard.
Drake. I faded Drake at the beginning of the year during that tournament, all 3 games, and that was the last time I made that mistake. Bennett Sturts fucked me the entire week.
I just have no feel for this game. You said it very perfectly. Just the styles, like Mizzou is so much more athletic.
I'm
Drake-
going
Drake
Mizzou
just
here.
plays like slow,
I go Mizzou.
leaner.
For the points or for the just picking?
Yes.
-6.5.
Yeah.
I'm taking Drake plus 6.5.
I like Mizzou -6. I think also, I think Mark Mitchell playing is helps a ton, and I don't know. I just feel like they can really stop them in their tracks.
Listen to this Thursday 7:00 slate, basically. Arkansas, Kansas,
Great game.
Yale, Texas A&M, and then Drake, Missouri.
Yeah.
All playing
What's the fourth?
Wofford and Tennessee.
Oh, okay.
That's a mismatch, I think.
But that's
I think
that's a
that's-
6:50.
I
The
think
twos
that's
and the
a-
ones should all play early. I hate obviously the ones and the twos is like you just don't love.
Gotta remember though, it's a TV show, and they want people to see the big time team.
But like Duke's playing like 2. Like it's not even like they're
right, but
playing
then I
like.
bet you CBS has a 1 seed later that night. Could be wrong, but
I just think
maybe
116
maybe they
is
put the 1
so bad. 116.
Thursday 1 seed is 2:00. Houston.
right now, actually, hold on.
Also, this year I feel like the ones are so good. There's not even like a.
You might have a later one too, Rico. I don't know. I don't know the time because they don't have the matchup yet because of the playing.
Yeah. Okay, so they moved Kansas to there on the third.
That Thursday 7:00 slate's pretty good though, right?
Yeah, really. No, the slate the matchups this year are amazing.
I already locked in on my bets.
I locked in most of them.
I've locked in a few.
I've got a few that I need
For
to.
sure. Dude.
The last
I
one.
have to see my bankroll after today and tomorrow.
The last one seems like another very popular one. High Point. I've watched this team a bunch of times. They can fill it up. They're deep. What people might not know is they were down big in that conference championship game. It was one of the earlier. It was the last day of the regular season for everybody else. It was or second to last day of the regular season, March 8th. They won their conference. The coach Alan Huss went to the bench, and that was the difference in the game. Those guys not only, it wasn't like, hey, get us back in the game, and then I'm going to the starters. For the most part, they went and then won the game. He rode them all the way through. Very deep. Shoot it well. The only problem, two things you want to look at here, 0 quad 1 and quad 2 opponents over the last 2 years. They haven't played anybody in quad 1 and quad 2, and they're 227th defensively. I've also seen a ton of things, though, in their last 5 or 6 games. Purdue has given up 74 or 70.
I'm sorry, who hasn't played one?
High Point.
High Point.
Can I ask you? I have a question. I think that's smart for those teams, where it's like, why? Why even give yourself? I understand like playing them and whatever in November is great for your team, but like money, blah blah. But for like, just get in the tournament. That's all that matters for these small schools. Where it's like, I get the whole November thing and they put them on a big stage, but it's like, it doesn't matter. It seems to the committee. It's just like these smaller schools just win as many games as possible.
Because nobody would schedule High Point either. Like they do want the North Carolinas, so they get the opportunities. But for North Carolina, they don't know before the season if that's going to be a Q3 opportunity or a Q1 opportunity. So it's a lose-lose. That's why nobody would schedule the low majors. It's nothing like High Point wants those games. High Point won't get those games. But like at the end of the day, they're just going to have to win their conference. Nothing that happens in November, non-conference wise,
Have they made the tournament before?
High Point, I don't think so.
So this is going to help them
They've
get
been
games
on
in the future.
They've been on the edge the past couple of years.
Well, what I was going to say is it almost like them getting the game or does it almost doesn't matter because whether they run the table, if they just went, like if they were 30-0, if they didn't win their conference, they weren't going to get it regardless.
Like history.
There was JMU a couple years ago where they were like they beat Michigan State. They were 29-2, and it was like if they don't win their conference, they won't get in.
Quick history.
tough.
Did they ever make the tournament since 97?
High Point, by the way, is 7.5 point underdogs.
I got 9. It was 9 the other
Yeah,
day.
they're going to be a sexy team.
I think it's a
Very
track
sexy
meet.
team.
I'm taking the point. I take the point because I think it's an absolute track meet.
I
So I kind of like the
don't know
over
who to
too.
take.
153.5.
I just think it's like I think it's like
They were Division II for a while.
Oh, okay. So there you go.
won
so
the
they
conference a
probably never
lot.
made the tournament. So yeah, I mean, and,
Purdue. I don't think Purdue's great defensively either. Like,
oh, they're bad defensively. The other thing you got to look at too is like, listen, Painter broke the streak last year, gets to a final, but take the 10 years of Painter or the 8-year, 5 or 6, whatever picture you want to take of Painter. Did have a couple of good runs, but a lot of bad losses.
I think Purdue
He's looking at that X factor where
I do not believe in them whatsoever this year.
he could be the only guy to lose to every seed. He's getting there. He's got the bingo board. It's filled out a lot.
That's a funny lose to every
Almost
seed
every
is
seed.
awesome.
Almost because it's equally. You could say that's pathetic. How could you lose to almost every seed because that involves a 16 and a 15.
Has he really
and
almost?
a
He's lost to
14.
a 16. He's lost to what, a 14 or 13? Well, then,
I think 15 might
they lost
be.
into they lost
15
into
might be at
Texas.
large.
I think he was a 4.
Losing to the 16, he's like, that's why he could be probably the only one. To
Right. But it's also equally impressive that every year he's putting them in a position to get those seats.
16 seed only won twice, right?
Well, but even
Virginia
15,
and-
15 seed, like if you look at, I think it's the last like 10 or 15 years. I think it's like there's basically been like 2 15s and 2 16s. Like it's been about the same with these last couple upsets.
He needs 14.
And that's it?
11, 12, 13, 15, and 16 he's lost to.
I didn't realize he lost as a 2.
When did he lose as a 2?
St. Peter's.
Oh, that's
Oh,
right.
shit.
Fuck. Holy shit.
Wow. Yeah.
That's embarrassing.
That's his. I actually think you could make
Fairleigh
it.
Dickinson and fucking St. Peter. I forgot he was part of both.
I'm on record. People are going to say, which is the more impressive upset? It's 100% FDU.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
which one is the worst loss? I actually think it's St. Peter's because he had 3 days to prep.
Yeah, true.
He had a full week to prep.
Yeah.
He didn't have a
100%.
ton of size. I actually think that, and FDU coming off of the play-in win,
Oh, I agree.
it's a quick turnaround. You know, like you should win both, and obviously you prep, but like you didn't know who he was going to get. I actually think the St. Peter's loss was worse, especially with Edie, and he did have another monster in there too. Who's the other monster? I'm forgetting.
Back then,
Yeah.
they had Trevion Williams.
Trevion Williams.
But I will
Thank you.
say also about the Fairleigh Dickinson one, like the game, like I know we just talked about, it, but like Edie didn't play bad at all. It was like Purdue just didn't make shots.
Right.
Like they had every open look. It was like one of those days where it was just like so fucking weird.
Yeah.
Like there was no like. That's why I think the St.
What
Peter's
ball are
was
they
worse
using?
also.
That's a big thing because Duke,
Pretty sure the Wilson.
whatever Duke used in the ACC,
Yeah, Big T was on. He was betting unders left and right.
it was like the guys came back being like, I don't know what's wrong with the ball. It's crazy that they change it. They've used 5 different balls this year.
Nuts.
Yeah.
It should be one ball.
Yes.
Well, conference to conference and team to team they do. Because they used to say the Rutgers thing was partly not even just the home court, is that they use an Adidas ball like no one else
Yes,
did.
I think that's what it
love
is.
the
I think that's
All right,
what,
uniform those balls, guys.
the fact that we can't.
It's part of the home court. I think that's why I've always argued college basketball has the best home court advantage because
the ball?
the gym, the ball. There's like a lot of things.
Getting there.
There's a lot of things that go into
Places
that.
far away from.
I've always said there's one thing. So ask any Big Ten player, the worst place to play is Minnesota because the locker rooms are awful. They like deflate the balls for the other. Like it's a little less of a on the in the. It's crazy. Like there's so much. Ev's right. There's so much more of an advantage. That's why these. It depends who. Like these bigger schools will. Their fans travel way better for these games. Like these 1 seeds do matter. Like Duke is playing in Charlotte, the first 2 games. That's all Duke players. That's all Duke fans.
It's always amazing to me. Sorry, it's always amazing to me that the NCAA decides these sites 2 or 3 years in advance. The first round sites, and somehow it always seems like one is close to the 1s and 2 seeds. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
Like so, Providence this year works out for St. John's. Charlotte obviously
That would have worked out for
Duke.
UConn too, though. I think sometimes it just
Yeah.
works out.
Just a lot of schools that are in the
they
same
just-
region.
Yeah, it's
That makes
you
sense.
got to be almost got to be kind
Like Clemson, Duke, UNC is all gonna be like right around.
even Auburn. Like the thing with
But
Auburn,
they do have to go get the seeds. That's
Yeah,
my,
yeah, I
you
know
what
what
I mean. So like,
but there's like enough like in the like
Yeah.
think about like the southeast region. Like somebody's gonna be
somebody's
good
gonna
in
be
the
good.
SEC, like-
Yeah, somebody's gonna be good. That makes
like,
sense.
like, Auburn got fucked. Like if
Where's Houston playing?
I don't know. Actually, hold on.
the Midwest
Offhand.
region,
Yeah,
Ohio, probably?
Wichita, Kansas.
Kansas, okay.
Wichita, Kansas.
so not like horrible for that.
I don't know all the first round sites.
it's not
Could be-
great.
but it could be worse. They're like the 3 seed, I guess. Could be
Yeah.
worse.
All right. So I did touch on it. I'll give you this to end it, and then we'll get into picks. Highest bet percentages for DraftKings in terms of tickets. St. John's minus 18.5, 87%. Tennessee minus 18.5, 84%. Bama minus 22.5%. 22.5. Sorry. 70. He's scrolling Patino's face on my thing. 78%. Michigan
someone's
State.
not rattled.
No. Michigan State minus 17.5, 78%. And Akron plus 14.5, 78%. Highest percentage of the money. Akron plus 14.5, 94%. Florida minus 28.5, 88%. St. John's minus 18.5, 86%. Kentucky minus 11.5, 85%. GCU plus 10.5, Yale plus 7.5, Houston minus 29.5, all at 84%. all at 84%.
The Akron really is I just don't understand. It's not even that I don't like Akron. I'm just fascinated they're getting like this much love.
Arizona, maybe because Arizona got troubles from Long Beach State last year, if you remember. And didn't they lose 2 years ago early to someone?
Yeah, they
Arizona-
lost to, Princeton.
Arizona also started the year off like people were like
Arizona wasn't great.
people were literally like that win against Duke's win was like whatever, it's Arizona, and then they all of a sudden they had a great end of the great stretch.
Yeah. I know it's not the best rationale, but I do feel like Arizona could be in control of this game at 18-20 or 17, in the range of like always up 13-17, 13-18, which is definitely in control. But numbers matter, and if Akron's going to be flinging it all night, and the NCAA tournament, you've always seen, it seems like in the last 4 minutes, flinging, and then maybe get hot and cut it. Arizona's kind of checked out, like, let's just get the hell out of here. We're up 16, we're up 17. And all of a sudden it turns to 9 in a 2-minute span. And Arizona's never in doubt to really win the game, but Akron is now inside the number relatively safe. You know, so I don't know, I worry about it. I do think it depends what Akron does at night, how they can shoot it, obviously. But, yeah, I mean, if it's up and down and Akron wants to play that way, they got a lot of athletes. I was impressed with them in the MAC.
I would say they were the best MAC team. Like, they won the regular season and conference championship. So they're not some, like, fluky, like, made a run last week. They were the best team.
Right. Well, that's the point. You weren't here.
All year.
Everybody's talking about the chalk and how great these 1 seeds are, and they're historic, and the 2s. And it's a huge thing there with the 1s and 2s. Not so much the 3s, but the 1s and 2s really, really good. You could also make the argument that every mid-major that we got, it's the best group of mid-majors. It was 1 versus 2 in every final, wire to wire. Like he said, San Diego State, wire to wire. Grand Canyon was the 2. They upset Utah Valley. They were right at the top. Drake wins the Missouri Valley all the way through. High Point all the way through. Troy won the league. They ended up finishing but Troy was top of the league in the Sun Belt all the way through. You have a great group of mid-majors, and I don't know if you have a great group of 4, 5, 6s, if that makes sense. I know you have a good group of 1s and 2s. So everybody's saying chalk, chalk, chalk. I think the chalk can take care of business for sure, like all 1s and 2s win, and then the 4, 5, 6s turns into a kind of disaster, and then that turns into the chalk late because they get easy Sweet 16 or second round.
It's what I was saying earlier. Like, you're seeing all these close spreads because of that.
The best group of mid-majors we have ever seen.
Like, I think the only one of the I think the only 2 of the 4, 5 or 3, 4, 5, 6 or 3, 4 or 4, 5, 6 is Troy's getting 10.5. Grand Canyon's getting 11.5, and Grand Canyon's getting a ton of love. I think I'm going to be on Grand Canyon.
I kind of like Grand Canyon.
Even you said Grand Canyon, like they weren't the number 1 Utah Valley was. They were favored by 5 points. In the game.
They were favored in the game. Yeah,
they were like analytically like the best team.
Grand Canyon been to a couple tournaments.
They've been good. Like they
won a game last year against Charleston. No, we had Charleston. Who did they beat? St. Mary's. They beat St. Mary's. Beat St. Mary's. So 84% of the money, not just tickets, money is on Grand Canyon.
They gave you guys a run.
Yes.
They play Bama.
Yes, they play Bama close. Yes. They have the kid Foster, who is from Kansas.
He's still on the
Drew's
team,
a great coach, like basketball royalty. I like Grand Canyon a lot. I also think the defenses show up a little bit. That's a real fucking high total. Grand Canyon, Maryland.
What is it?
I think it's like 150.
I've
seen Grand Canyon get up and down, but
games. I guess I get it.
Yeah, it's high. All right, tonight I'm on San Diego State. Plus the
4.5.
4.5.
Love UNC minus 4.5.
Taking San Diego State. I'm taking San Diego State. I do think I think I'm wrong, but who knows?
Well, you could change it.
I know.
I love UNC. This is a classic. Everyone's talking about UNC.
Yep.
They don't deserve to be there. Everything about them. They are going to win this. RJ Davis is going to have a game that he goes fucking off. They're going to put it together. San Diego State's is banged up. They're also just like they've been so up and down this year. I don't trust them at all. I love UNC minus 4.5, and I hate to say it, but that's just, that's how it works too. You know how that works. Everyone hates that they're in it. They can't stand that they're in it.
And then they probably go beat Ole Miss.
They're going to beat Ole Miss. They'll lose in the second.
6:40 tonight. We'll be streaming. Clemmer, what are you on tonight?
I'm on Justin Steele under 14.5 outs. It's minus 130. I really like that play. Really, really, really like that play. And I'm also on North Carolina minus 4.5 for the reasons Marty said.
Ev.
Yeah, I like UNC as well. I bet it Sunday night. It was one of those, like, the second came out, I was like, yep, great spot for them. I'll have some picks for the other game, too.
I think I'm going to go under in the first game.
I actually had some props.
Why?
A lot of pressure on them. It's the first time they're playing on national.
138.5.
in a long time.
It's first,
Ever.
like, just get. I think
championship.
getting used to a new gym like this as well. I also think that I was looking at their games before. It was just their last the championship game that they played, and they won 46-43. So that was a big one for me. But the games before, like, they're very odd though. Like the quarterfinal was 55-58 low, and then the last one was 71-68. It's just like
71-68, but that still wouldn't.
That would just get over.
That would,
just get over.
71, it's 138.5. 71-68 is 137.
It's 139. 71-68.
Oh, I'm sorry. Jesus, I'm sorry, guys. You're absolutely
Just over.
right.
And the other games too were both like really in the 60s. I don't know. I think it's going to start off really slow. And
I don't hate that
First
idea,
half
logic.
under. Maybe the boys get on a first half under.
First half under.
First half under.
Let's do that.
No, I actually like because that gets talked about with the conference tournaments, and I think it's a good point where new gym, like rims they're not used to, court they're not used to.
First half over under.
A lot of
on national TV.
national TV, which they've never.
Everyone's
been on
watching
ever.
them the first
64
game.
and a half.
So low.
So low. I like to full one more.
I might just do both. We'll see. I'll tweet them, but I might do both.
I'm going to take
All right, I'll ride with you.
UNC, I'm in already.
Also, like the other one of the teams is under 500 this year.
St. Francis.
St. Francis is 16.
I think that's. I'm not locked in, but I think I'm going to be on Alabama State. St. Francis is like one of the worst teams, the rank or whatever in college basketball.
Alabama State favored by 3.5.
I'm not locked in. I think I'm going to be on
I
Alabama.
think I'm going to go probably 3.5.
I took some player props
St.
too.
Francis is a really cool story. $0 NIL dollars. Like,
Yeah,
pretty
they
much a
stink, man.
commuter school.
Like, good for them. I'm glad they got here, but I think they stink, and I think that I'm going to go with them as
What are you
well.
on, Dukes?
I'm on San Diego State. They get back Magoon Gwath,
Yep.
who's their star freshman, defensive player of the year in the Mountain West, or whatever, Pac-12, whatever they're even
Mountain
in
West.
anymore. Yeah.
Mountain West.
And he was also the rookie of the year. He's really fucking good. I love San Diego State, and I also love Dutcher as a coach.
Love Dutcher. Love their assistants.
I think they
I
do
took this
have
parlay
They
though.
do have the coaching.
I
edge.
took St. Joe's money line lacrosse, and I put Alabama State and San Diego State plus
Okay.
4.5, plus 450.
I also think UNC had a really good second half against Duke, where they kind of got their confidence back a little bit. Like lane violation, they fucking might win
Crazy.
that game, which was
Ooh.
awesome, by the way.
And
Somebody
missed the
did have a
first free
tidbit,
throw.
by the way, that St. Francis, I forgot about this. St. Francis played Dayton first game of the year this year, so it's not their first time playing at UD Arena.
Interesting.
First game of the year, though.
Honestly,
Yeah,
no. I
that's-
think it's worth noting though. I appreciate.
Definitely worth noting, but it doesn't go much into my decision.
Phil, you got anything?
Yeah, I'll take St. Francis, Pennsylvania money line.
Phil will just be live betting.
I'm taking the Cubs tomorrow morning as well.
All right, so back tomorrow. Yak's
Careful
up
with that.
next. That is Pick Central.
Man.
Dive into the games tonight. We got 2 tonight, and then the big thing kicks off Thursday. So we'll see you then.